He was once known as the Australian Taliban. David Hicks, the first man to be convicted of war crimes at Guantanamo Bay. And after being detained for 5.5 years, Hicks is now asking an appeals court to overturn that conviction, arguing that his guilty plea was unknowing, unintelligent, and involuntary, and part of a desperate attempt to secure his release. Hicks was captured in Afghanistan for his alleged involvement with al-Qaeda in late 2001. Soon after, he was turned over to the U.S. and taken to Guantanamo in the facility's first batch of prisoners. There, he says, he faced day after day of inhumane treatment.
Myself and everyone else was tortured on a daily basis. I mean, that's from typical physical beatings, a whole range of psychological ploys. There was medical experimentation.
And it was that medical experimentation that would give Hicks the most harrowing of memories.
We were forced to take injections or pills. What those were, they did not tell us, or the reasons they gave would constantly change, especially as far as the pills, the size of the pill, the color of the pills. If you refused to take the injections of the pills, they would send in what they called the earth teams, like a riot squad, and they would physically force you to take this medication.
The former detainee's claims are now echoed in a new study out this week that shows military doctors had designed and participated in cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment of detainees. These conditions finally pushed Hicks to take a plea deal in 2007 on the charge of providing material support for terrorism. It was called an Alford plea, which meant he acknowledged the evidence but did not make any admissions. However, Hicks still knew there would be implications.
It wasn't an easy decision because I had to think about the ramifications of doing that. I'd always profess my innocence, as I still do. So to say guilty to any crime, let alone something as serious as terrorism, and I knew that at least Australian media would never let me forget that.
The charge of providing material support for terrorism was created by Congress in 2006, 5 years after Hicks was captured in Afghanistan. And now his lawyers are seeking dismissal of that conviction, saying it wasn't a war crime at the time he was detained. They're relying on a recent U.S. federal appeals court decision that overturned the conviction of Salim Hamdan, the former driver of Osama bin Laden, who was charged with the same crime. The court ruled that Hamdan could not be charged retroactively. And now, 12 years after his detainment, David Hicks will seek the same outcome. At the very least, he'll get the chance to explain his plea in court and perhaps even prove his innocence. In Washington, Amira David, RT.